G'day. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Good to have you here with me. Today we're going to be looking at the preview for England, should I say Wallabies versus England, second test, Brisbane. To be honest, as a Wallabies fan, the bar is pretty low for us, and beating England last week with 14 players on the field, I'm pretty happy. I feel like we already won the series. I'm good. And beating Eddie Jones the first time since he took over England is a pretty good achievement, I think. And we're pretty good. Just put on the reserves, guys, and we're good to go. Just so you know, England has been hated all around the world for various reasons. And I always thought, those reasons were a little bit overblown, a bit of, traditional hatred involved. But, after last week, I really started to see why everybody hates England. Yeah, so, the stuff that we see here, right? Johnny Cumstain grabs, this is just, like, as bad as you can get, blatantly pulling someone by the hair. And, pretty bad looks. And just to remind you some of the other stuff that only an English player can do, right? There's a lot of, all sorts of dirty players out there, but only an Englishman will do this, okay? Will grab someone else's dick on the field, right? Only an Englishman will do that. And that's Joe Marler on Alan Wynne-Jones in 2020, okay? Not that long ago, 2020, just before the pandemic, okay? So, yeah, I can see why everyone hates English team now, because they're all a bunch of absolute cunts, say that word on YouTube. But, yeah, that's what they are, and fully understandable. Now, let's get into the game. So, obviously, Cumstain did not get suspended. That's just the way World Rugby works. And Eddie Jones had the balls to complain that the referee favoured Australians. I was laughing all day when I saw that one. So, yeah, Eddie Jones alleged that the referee helped Australians win despite, Cumstain only getting a yellow card and not getting suspended. So yeah, definitely the referee helped Australia a lot. I guess in that game, I think the referee scored 2 tries in that game as well, didn't he? So yeah, really, make that missing player on the field. Just some good hands from the referee, helped the Wallabies for a couple of tries. So yeah, really good performance by the referee. Hopefully, but he's not selected for this weekend. Maybe the new referee will step in, but we're not sure. We'll have to wait and see to make up for the 16th man for the Wallabies, obviously. But the Wallabies probably need a bit of help. To be honest, there's quite a lot of injuries came out of the first week. It's like comical how many people got injured in the first week. So Tom Banks broke his arm during the game. Alan Alatoa had a head injury, knocked himself out. Quade Cooper put up his hamstring during the warm-up. Andrew Callaway, just been reviewed, most recent one, came out with a hamstring. So yeah, Lenny Kitao have a sore calf, and yeah, as a result, I think there might be one more. We talked about what's his name? Quade Cooper. So yeah, and obviously Darcy Swain getting suspended for headbutt. Totally worth it. If there's ever a time worth getting suspended, that was it, right? He should have punched him, to be honest. But yeah, anyway, so that was So there's a huge list of Wallabies players not available for the second test, and sweeping changes are being done for the Wallabies team as a result. So let's have a look at the lineup. So first up, the front rowers, one change for front row. Alan Alatoa being replaced by the returning Tanel Tupou. Tupou had a bit of an injury as himself, had a bit of a calf injury, I think he was. He comes back at number 3. The Tongan Thor. People call him the Tongan Thor because he's the most handsome player on the field, not because he has the athleticism of a Norse god, but he is the most handsome. So Tongan Thor, the most handsome man on the field, returns to the Wallabies. But I'm not sure how he's going to perform. He has been struggling a little bit in Super Rugby, maybe because that lingering calf issue. Hopefully he does a good solid work this week alongside Angus Bell, who has shown again dominance against the England scrum. So Angus Bell, really good at loose head. Dave Parecki at hooker position had a very solid game last week. He did not look like he was debuting for the Wallabies. Looked like a veteran on the field. Didn't make much mistakes. In fact, I can't remember making any mistakes. And just very, very solid, well-deserved debut and gets another shot at that number 2 jersey. We talked about Daniel Tupou. So for the England side, the front rowers unchanged. Ellis Genji, number 1. Jamie George, number 2. Will Stewart, number 3. Jamie George really didn't get opportunity to show his running game. He actually has a really, really good speed and quite a bit of power as well behind him. Didn't really get to show that from the England side last week. So hopefully we'll see if he gets a bit of a go this week. In the locking positions, that Matt Phillip comes in for Darcy Swain taking a break. And Matt Phillip, I thought probably, Matt Phillip has been pretty poor for his club in the Melbourne Rebels. Bit of write-off, but he was really good last year for the Wallabies. Hopefully his game has improved once within the Wallabies training camp. So big game for him this week against Mauro Itoje on the opposite side. I think Matt Phillip didn't play against England last year, so this might be the first time. Yeah, I'm not sure. This might be the first time he played against England, to be honest. I'm not too sure. I think he might have played before, though. Not too sure. But yeah, so this will be a big challenge for him alongside Mauro Itoje. Caden Neville had a solid game last week, working that line out with Dave Parecki was excellent, so it stayed at number 5. Johnny Cumstang retains his spot at number 5 for England. Don't know. He might have to. Don't know what he did in the background, in the back. What is it? Boardroom shenanigans. Don't know what else they did, but he did not get cited. So yeah, despite that, there were previous instances of hair pulling, players being banned and cited. It's okay. It's okay if you play for England. Rob Leota comes in number 6 for Australia. Courtney Laws, number 7 for England. Michael Hooper, once again, tremendous captaincy for him last week, comes in at number 7. New addition to England side, Sam Underhill, comes in for Tom Curry. I think he had a concussion. Maybe a concussion, or I think it was concussion, yeah. For Tom Curry for number 7 jersey. Sam Underhill is actually really, really good. I kind of prefer him. Maybe over Billy Vunipola, to be honest, at number 8, to be honest. The England side really did show a lack of intensity for most of the game. So I felt like maybe some of the lumbering big forwards is letting the team down a little bit. I felt like maybe a bit more speed in the form of Underhill would have helped last week. Rob Valentini comes in number 8 for the Wallabies. As we mentioned, Billy Vunipola, the big man, 130 kilos, comes in for the number 8 spot. So, yeah, the England side, backline, few changes as well. Lots of changes for the Wallabies. Nick White retains his jersey at number 9. And Jack Van Povier comes in at number 9 for the England side. He moves off the bench. The veteran gets what's his name? The veteran, gets moved to the bench. Danny Kerr gets moved to the bench. So, the interesting fact for the England here, we're talking in a second about the bench setup. But yeah, Jack gets moved to number 9, having a pretty good game last week, coming off the bench, even though he only had 10 minutes. I felt like Eddie Jones has that trust issues with his players. He tends not use his bench as much as you should be. A lot of, there were a couple of, players came off the bench for the England team in the dying minutes, scoring 2 tries, almost giving England a chance to win the game had they been put on the field a bit earlier. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Eddie Jones really, really not managing his bench well. Noel Olesio started last week, number 10, because Quade Cooper put out late, but he was listed as a reserve in the first place, so he's technically moved up to number 10 spot permanently this week. Last week's performance by Noel Olesio was probably the best performance for the Wallaby jerseys. So far, out of his 9 tests, that was the best. He had some pretty bad shockers last year against the All Blacks. Had a solid performance against the French last year, but last week against England with 14 men on the field, he really managed again really, really well. Showed a lot of maturity, showed a lot of composure, and I was very impressed. I thought, and he everything he did, cross the dot, cross the T's, dot the I's. Everything he did was just really, really, really clinical. It was really good from Lolesio. So hopefully we'll see him again this week, and maybe we can build him that confidence so he doesn't choke against the almighty All Blacks again this year, and that'll be a huge, huge, huge improvement from Noel Olesio. Marcus Smith retains spot at number 10 jersey. Didn't really show that much last week. For some, there was didn't really show much last week. The 4-pack was getting dominant, was getting on the back foot a little bit. By the Wallabies, and the attacking game by the Wallabies was really fast for the English team to handle, despite the fact that the Wallabies has 14 players on the field. So Marcus Smith really didn't get a chance to show some of that forward momentum. That limited, didn't really get that forward momentum from his forward pack to show off much last week, to be fair. Marika Corambetti had a pretty good outing last week. Big hard hits and some good running. Comes in a number 11 jersey. Tommy Freeman gets caught into the number 11 jersey, getting his debut. He was is it Freeman or is it Guy Porter? So I think Freeman might be an Australian guy. I think it's either him or I think it was Guy Porter. But one of the guys is David is actually like from Sydney University, so really good for him to making their debut at home soil. Yeah. Samu Karevi comes in number 12 jersey, physicality as always. I felt like he probably should have, he did look really physical, but I felt like he probably should have targeted Owen Farrell a little bit more. I would like to see that this weekend. Yeah, just run at him, mate. Just run at him. Owen Farrell, number 12 for England as always. And for the outside center position, Hunter Paisami comes in for Len Ikitau. Hunter Paisami has been really good, always for the Reds, physicality. He had dabbled a little bit in the outside center position with a bit of a kicking game. It's okay, not the most clinical kicking game, but he does play a little bit like a second five when he does those kickings. And he did show a little bit of flair, bit of a grabber kick, set up a tries for Patea in for the Reds. So he has a few tools that he can pull out of the 13 jersey, which is kind of like the style that Rennie likes to play out of the 13 with Len Nikitau. It's play the kicking game out of the 13 and have the number 12 being that high running bulk in the form of Simon Krevy. So yeah, Hunter Sami at 13 will be a good fit to see how he go for the Wallabies. He's shown a bit of the talent there already for the Reds. Hopefully we can transfer that to the Wallabies this weekend. Guy Porter, like I mentioned, debuting for England. Maybe the Australian guy, I think it's Tommy Freeman is the Australian guy, to be fair. Guy Porter comes in number 13 for England. Tom Wright gets caught in for Callaway at number 14. I thought Tom Wright probably deserved to start over Callaway based on cup performances. Tom Wright, really good kicking game, good finishing, good running game, and overall, I thought really high work rate, pretty solid player. I thought he probably deserved starting to be in the first place over Callaway. And he gets a start at 14. Really good opportunity for him to solidify that spot as solidify the jersey for himself, really, Tom Wright. Jack Knoll, the veteran, gets number 14 jersey again for the England side. On the 15 position, Jordan Patea gets his dream at a fullback. Finally, for the Wallabies, he's been talked about a lot. Playing fullback for the Reds, he has been put on the wing, has been put on the center, all sorts of places. He really didn't get much opportunity at the fullback for the Reds, but he finally gets that chance at the Wallabies at fullback. He came off the bench last week, but it'd be good to see him start finally at fullback position. Freddie Stewart, the England's goalkeeper, exceptionally good under the high ball. Showed that again last week, super solid. This man does not crack under pressure, and really difficult guy to play against under those high ball kicking game. Freddie Stewart, number 15 for the England side. Now, this is the interesting start for the England's reserves. England's opting for 6-2 bench split. So they're doing the South African. They're putting a South African here. Last time Eddie Jones tried this, there was injuries in the backline, like 3-4 injuries in the backline, and England had to put forwards in the backline. That was in July last year against Argentina. I can't remember who it was. Maybe against Argentina. Maybe it was against. But anyway, England last year, July Test series. They did have Lions tour as well, so they had basically put on a bunch of they basically had a 6-2 set up, and then they end up having 3 or 4 injuries in the back line, then have to put forwards in the back line. So again, Eddie Jones wants to try the 6-2 split. We should see how he goes. The problem is, unlike the Springboks, who has Damien Valemsa, who covers every position on the back line, I'm just not sure if Henry Arundel can cover every position in the backline for the England side. I mean, can anyone in the England team cover every position? If Marcus Smith gets injured, I guess Owen Farrell will go there. Who else can play center? Arundel can go center, I guess. I'm not sure. Fullback, who's going to cover fullback if Freddie Stewart gets injured? Marcus Smith goes to fullback. Not too sure. I mean, this is a very, very risky venture for Eddie Jones, and we shall see how this goes And maybe it's funny how teams try to do this and they don't really understand how they actually work. Sometimes like the intricacies that goes into making the 6-2 bench split work for the Springboks is not as simple as it's just like, hey, let's put 6 forwards and 2 backs and see how it goes. There's a lot of like organization and training and preparation involved. Having that one player being able to play every position on the field, so we shall see how it goes. Anyway, Flair Fa'anga, Scott Seo, James Slipper makes up the reserve props and hooker for the Wallabies. Unchanged front rowers for the England side as well. Luke Cowan Dickey 16, Marco Vinipola 17, Joey Hayes and 18. Nick Frogs comes in for the 19 jersey as a result of Darcy Swain, and Matt Phillip moving up to the starting spot. Ollie Chisholm retains the 19 jersey for England. Pete Samu, again, huge finisher for the Wallabies last week, coming off the bench after Darcy Swain went off. And just, tremendous effort for him once again. Retains the number 20 jersey. Lewis Lutlam comes in for England at number 20. Jake Gordon, 21 for the Wallabies. 21 for the Wallabies. Jack Willis, it's a new addition for the England side. He plays for flanker. Big boy, 110 kilos for flanker, comes in number 21. James O'Connor, he was caught in the squad last week due to Quay Cooper pulling out, but he did not play any game time. I don't think he did. I don't remember him running on. So he gets another shot at number 22 spot for the Wallabies. Danny Kerr comes in at number 22 for England, moving down from the starting 9 position. And Isaiah Peresi gets another shot for the Wallabies at number 23 jersey, coming off the bench again. Peresi is someone I've been waiting for a long time for him to start for the Wallabies at the outside centre position. He has been exceptionally good for the Waratahs. And showed a lot of talent, a lot of line breaking excitement machine there. So I really want to see more of him on the field for the Wallabies. So 23, Isaiah Peresi. Henry Arundel comes in for England for number 23. This is the guy that came off the bench. First time he touched the ball in international test rugby, scores a try for the Wallabies. So maybe if Eddie Jones had a bit more trust in him, put him on the field, like instead of the last 5 minutes of the game, put him in for maybe even the last 10, 15 minutes. England probably could have won the game last week. Maybe had a better chance of winning. But Henry Arundel gets that number 23 jersey. Hopefully he gets more time this week. He was electrifying last week. Really, really, really good to see. Anyway, that's the preview for the weekend for Wallabies versus the England. And this, let me know your predictions. I think Wallabies should win this one. There's, this England side is very clunky by the looks of things. And last week wasn't that great. Owen Farrell's kicking was a bit off, so so I feel like the Wallabies gonna win 32 points to 15. That's my predictions. Let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, and subscribe. I do appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching this video, and see you guys for the reviews on the weekend. Cheers.